My name is Juanita Hurley and I'm an independent specialist speech and language therapist. I worked for many years in the NHS and also in education, where I held numerous posts from working in preschool settings and portage through to mainstream schools as well as special schools. I now predominantly undertake independent assessments as part of the specialist tribunal appeal system, both in England and Wales. And I've been doing that for a number of years. Alongside that, I am now a director of the London Autism Assessment Practice, where I work as part of a multidisciplinary diagnostic assessment team. Now, as the lockdown continues, I thought I would talk to you and share with you some of my ideas for you supporting your child's language at home. In doing so, I've thought about lots of different areas of language because it is huge and I couldn't possibly aim to cover everything. But I've picked up some of the regular occurring difficulties that I've seen when I've assessed children or I've had reported back to me by both parents and teachers. Now, one of the first areas that's often mentioned that children struggle with is following instructions. Now, it's a really important aspect of their development that they are able to follow, process, retain and act on verbal information. And there are lots of ways that you can support this at home. One of the key aspects, I think, to doing this is to make it fun. So I've thought that perhaps you could play a barrier game. Now, barrier games are not sophisticated. You don't need anything special to do them. I have here a cardboard box, and this forms a very good barrier between myself and you. So if you can imagine there was a child sat the other side of the box, I could give that child lots of instructions as to something that I wanted them to do. So for example, they may have a sheet of paper on their side and I am going to play the role of teacher and I'm going to give the child some instructions to follow. So I might say, draw a yellow circle, put a blue triangle next to the circle, draw a square to the left of the circle, draw a green triangle next to the blue triangle, and so on and so forth. The important thing when playing a barrier game is that you allow sufficient time for the child to process the information and make sure that you're using language that's understood by the child. Another good barrier game is do what I say. And again, you might give the child a picture this time and instructions as to how to colour it in. So your picture is just going to be an outline. It might be from a colouring book or it might be something that you download from the internet, just a blank outline. You might even draw an outline of a picture yourself and then you give your child instructions as to how to colour it in. So for example, you might say, colour the tree blue, colour the sky yellow, colour the door of the house pink. If you're playing this game with more than one child, you can encourage your children to take turns so that they're giving each other instructions, and that's a lovely way of developing that game. Another activity that you might want to use for working on instructions is called Hideaway. And for this, you're going to need a series of objects. Now, I've just picked up some things that I had lying around in the house. I'll get my box back. And you might simply say, put the ball on the box. Put the cup next to the box. Put the pen under the cup. Easier said than done. Put the apple next to the ball. Put the picture under the pen. So again, we're working on instructions, but this time using objects. And you can, just as I say, use a variety of different things that you have around your home. No special equipment required. Now, that's instructions. Another area that I often see that some children have difficulty with is just acquiring vocabulary and acquiring verbs. So this is all part of developing their grammatical skills and making sure they've got sufficient vocab that they can use more complex language. But we're going to focus on verbs. And there are lots and lots of verbs that you can choose from. I think it's really important that you choose verbs that are going to be important for your child and meaningful for them. So we're wanting them to use them as functionally as possible. Now again, to work on this, you may play games like charades. So you might have a whole series of verbs that you've either drawn yourself or you've cut out of a picture book. And the idea is to get your child to act out what they can see, and you're then going to guess. It's always great fun, and of course you can turn it around and take turns. So that's one way that you could work on them. Another really simple game is Simon Says, and it could be Simon says clap your hands, Simon says jump, Simon says walk quickly, those sorts of things. And again, a lot of fun. You can rotate so that your child gets the opportunity to tell you what to do, and that keeps the game going. It sort of breaks it up a bit. You could also try playing shopping games, and for this I would suggest that you don't have to sort of rush out again and buy a shopping game, but you can create one from within your own cupboards, taking out tins of soup, tins of peas, items from the fridge, keep some empty packets so that there's a degree of authenticity to it, and it just makes it a little bit of fun. And you can encourage your child to tell you what they've bought when they've gone shopping. I went shopping and I bought, and so on and so forth. The great thing about a game like I Went Shopping is that you can also turn it into a memory game. So you're working on two areas at once, which can often be quite enlightening as well. Alongside following instructions and verbs, we often come across little children who have difficulties in understanding and using prepositions. So again, I'm going back to my equipment here. The idea being that you ask the child to do certain things. So if we're working on the preposition in, put the pen in the cup. If we're working on the preposition on, put the apple on the pen. Under, put the ball under the cup. Probably not the cleverest because it's going to roll away, but there we are. And of course, prepositions are words that tell us the direction of something or where something is positioned. And they're really, really important in terms of developing language. You can also play preposition snap. You could draw lots of pictures and get your child to match the different prepositions. I haven't sort of put one of those together, but I'm sure that there are many of you out there who would have fun creating that with your child. Another key area of need that I often see are word finding difficulties and word retrieval difficulties. And these are linked to really the development of semantic relationships. And I just want you to try everyday activities to support these skills. Again, nothing particularly flashy. Don't want you rushing out and buying things. Just use what you have at home. So again, choose lots of different objects. I've got my trusty ones here. And you can talk to your child about certain things. So you can get them to describe it. If I were thinking about a ball, for example, we could say that it's round, it's something that you throw, you might kick it, they can be soft, they can be hard. So you're just getting some description flowing. I've also described what it does. Oh, where you might find it? Well, you might find it in a cupboard, you might find it on a field. So you're giving some information there for the child to locate it. You might actually think about words in terms of their categories. And what else might you do with it? So it's an alternative name for the same thing. And what else does it make you think of? So again, coming up with different associations. Another way of supporting word finding difficulties is to do so through phonological awareness. So you might ask your child, well, what does it start with? So that gets your child thinking about the initial sound of the word. You might ask them if they can think of any other sounds that are in the word. Can they think of a word that it rhymes with? So something it sounds like. Or can they clap out how many syllables the word might have? So I've just gone through 2 or 3 key areas that I often come across that some children have difficulty with. I really, really hope that's been helpful for you. And thank you for listening. Goodbye.